Hello everyone, this lesson is about advanced histograms. We're going to take a look at the same dataset now that we already uh, take a look in the previous video. Now our drive is mounting. We will wait a few seconds. Just to let you know one intro again for the data. It's about the occupancy of a given room. So the occupancy is with 0 or 1. Either the room is occupied or not. Um, this is this is given by manually selecting 1 or 0 from a given picture of the room. We have four different sensors for temperature, humidity, light, and the carbon dioxide. So for all four features, here is the humidity ratio that is scaled from the humidity. We're gonna only use these four for making advanced histograms. Now I'm gonna go till the end. As we talked previously, we're gonna use the interactive tool of Plotly. I'm gonna import it with Plotly, and I'm gonna call the Express Plotly SPX. Now, when we make some grouping, what we need is data that has some, let's say, continuous, not a continuous, but some like classifications, some categories. But here in our data of the sensors, we have mainly decimal numbers that are continuous values, and if I make some group by, it will be like almost all the instances will be unique one with containing two columns. Because of that, I'm gonna make firstly I'm gonna round the values. So if I go to the column of temperature and make a round as a function, it will give us the biggest number appearing. So it's rounding on the integer. So 23.7 is round on 24. Now I'm gonna say that the temperature should be rounded up. The same I'm gonna do with humidity. And around the humidity on the biggest, on the integer number. Now for the grouping. After I have the data frame of temperature and humidity rounded up, also I can round up the light. So light will be, here it is. Now when we make a given grouping, let's take a look. From the pandas data frame, we have group by that has one state where we add the joins. That means the columns that the group by is made from, which we're going to go with temperature and humidity. If we take a look, I'm missing a letter. Now, after making the group by, we need to make here some counting for getting the values. Now, we can get columns that we need. For example, I can take the light together, and now if I make sum of the lighting, you can take a look that we have for temperature and humidity 0, then 531. It's a sum of all the lights together. If I make count, um, if I make count, then are counted the instances with the values. Let's take a look of the difference. In sum, here one example. So with sum, they're summed the values of the light, and for count, they're counted the rows that has temperature 19, humidity 26, and for all pairs. Now, if we want this to be a data frame, we need to make a reset index. With the reset index, we get temperature and humidity. Why reset index? Let's again take a look of the time series. Here we have temperature and humidity as indexes, and the values are appearing right here of this panda series. If I make reset indexes, the index of temperature and humidity will go into a given column, and this will be our new data. Now, our new data is having the values of temperature, humidity, and the number of instances per, per count. We can make different name for the columns, so it can stay the humidity and temperature, and the last one can be a count. Now if we take a look, the light is renamed in count. For the graph, I'm going to use, for the histogram, I'm going to use a bar plot. And here I'm going to add the data set. For x values and y values, I'm going to choose for x temperature, and for y humidity. Now, for y count, so it can be a histogram. For coloring, I'm going to choose the humidity. And now we can take a look. Here it is. If you want, you can say that this is some figure, and the figure has a show function for showing it as here as a plot or HTML component of a plot. One more thing that we can add is orientation. It can be V, that means a vertical or horizontal orientation. But here we didn't, we need to inverse the axes, but we will go to it here with vertical. We can add a title that will be, for example, temperature and humidity. And we can add, for example, a height, 700 here, and we can take a look now. Okay, as you can see here, appearing in a scale, because the humidity, some continuous values is appearing, you can see that the temperature of 20 here and the humidity 19 has a good amount of data. Also 21 with 25. Here these are having smaller values. You can take a look of the groupings that are made. You can say for example 20 humidity, how the values are distributed. You can have a look of the histograms for given groupings. Now the next one that we can take a look is if we make a grouping temperature and the light. I'm gonna take a look of the occupancy and count it out. So now we have with reset index again. as a function. If we take a look of our data, now we have temperature, light, and the number of count. So now columns, we said that we need these three to appear. I'm gonna make occupancy to be count and adding. Okay, now our data is having the grouping by temperature and light and the count of it. Again, we will go with a histogram here, and we will have bar. The bar will be our data set on X, adding the temperature, on Y, the light. No, on Y I will go with the count. So let's make it horizontal. Now here Y, here X on other side. And now for coloring, we will go with the light. The orientation will be horizontal. The bar mode can be group or it can be parallel. Now, if we go with group, we will take a look of the data. Here it is. How we can take a look that mainly when the light is almost zero, the values are having smaller temperature appearing, as you can see. Now we can add one more. We can add one more thing. Now for making it parallel bars, we need to add here group. But because our light is continuous value, the bar is again a stacked one. So it couldn't be, when we have classes for lights, then can go in that order. Now if we take a look of, for example, the occupancy, let's take a look. Let's take a look of the unique value that the occupancy has. Zero or one. Now I'm gonna make a grouping again, but now the grouping will be on temperature, occupancy, and count of the rows that appear. Now we have for temperature 19, occupancy 0, light given the count. Again, the columns will change to temperature, occupancy stays the same. At the end, we are adding count. Now we have the graph of a bar plot with calling the data set. As X values, we're going to go with temperature. On Y values with the counts for getting a histogram. On color, I'm gonna add the occupancy. As bar mode, we can have a group, and let's take a look. Now we have what's here the difference. We are having, as you can see, just 130 different counts and uh, occupancy of 1 appearing, temperature 20. The next here, as you can see, when we have maximum values of occupancy 0 and temperature 20, what that means, when the rooms are cold and with a smaller amount of light, we have smaller occupancy. So I can add, uh, and here when we have temperature of 22, when the temperature is bigger and the light is, let's say, also bigger, then the values of occupancy are 1. At the beginning, when the temperature are smaller, as you can see, till 20, the light is also, let's say, the rooms are dark, then the occupancy is very low. That's our, so what it means if you want to sell some flat or rent some room, then add light to it, add radiators, add some heating in the winter, add some interior for having a cozy places for people to stay. That's all for this data set. Look the next video for next data set analysis with history.